we have already conducted, I think this might be the 5th webinar for all the DEs. And we combine your group 20, the 24 and 22 batch. Because earlier we were thinking to organize per batch, but I think I think that many DEs are preoccupied with their own work, so we combine 2 batches in each session. Okay, before we start the meeting, I have put up the PowerPoint here saying that can you please mute your microphone when you are not speaking, and you can use the chat box whenever you want to ask question. We have come on here to monitor any messages on the chat box, so if you have a question, come on would be able to tell us what are those questions, so then we can address that. Of course, you can unmute your microphone when you want to speak. And the proceedings of this webinar is being recorded. You can access it from our Facebook, so that those who do not have time to join in our this afternoon meeting would be able also to see what we actually discuss. Okay, I hope everybody get the document that we sent you along with the invitation. That is very important because when you look at that document will also take you to the preparation of business continuity plan if you do not have. It is very important now that we analyze the impacts of COVID-19 to our operation. And this is not only current impact, but since the virus will, according to experts, will take long time, it looks like we have to live with this virus. So then there will be a longer and longer impact of this pandemic to the way our credit union operate. All right, so this is our agenda this afternoon. We'll give you time. I think even right now, if you have, challenges that your credit union is or your cooperative is experiencing. Sorry, I always use the word credit union. I hope that you understand that I am also referring to your cooperative, especially in the Philippines, and SACOs in Nepal. And of course, Indonesia call them credit unions. If you have any challenges that you are actually facing in your credit union right now, this is a critical challenge that you are experiencing, you can also put that on the chat box so that it will be an input for us also to improve this document. This is an evolving document. All right, so earlier we had a 20 minutes presentation on the credit union business solution, but based on our review with our session, Kunranjit and me and our team here decided that we wanted it to be more participatory, so we will just present to you the framework. Since you already have your document, the document with you, it would be good to to have an exchange with all of you on as to whether we really identify the impacts and responses which is practical to implement in your respective cooperative. We will also share experiences and what we can do as a development educator. And then we will have a synthesis and closing. Okay, before that, I would like to invite Kunranjit to say a few words before I proceed. Thank you very much, Kunranjit, for that. So I can go ahead now with the presentation. Okay, so this is the objective. Our objective is that for you to be aware that ACU has a tool that you can use to help credit unions or your credit union. I know that you are board of director or either staff of the credit union or manager of the credit union. This document will help you because we have identified very critical areas of operation of credit unions that has been impacted by the coronavirus. And so these are the objective is for you to be able to help your credit union to analyze the impacts and responses to COVID-19. And we also would like to identify what are the ways as a development educator you can help your credit union and your members. Okay, I hope that everybody will be happy to see this. This is your picture of the 22nd Development Education Workshop in 2017 in Bangkok. I do not know whether Achut is here because he's very famous during that batch. Everybody is calling him Achut. Okay, I'm not sure whether he's here. I think he's not here. All right, and then the 24th batch, they call themselves 24 karat batch. I saw some of the people here from the 24 karat. Welcome to all of you. So we actually miss you. Actually, we supposed to have our DE workshop 2 weeks from now, and we cancel it because of this pandemic. It's sad. Well, okay, so this is the business solution that we developed. It's a guide to credit unions on the impacts and responses to COVID-19, which is we assign this as Credit Union Business Solution 27. As when you attended the workshop in Bangkok, I'm sure that you understand that ACU is very much engaged in creating business solutions for credit unions because we understand that, you know, this would be the first step that we can objectively see the development issues in our credit union. So then if ACU develops it, it will be like, you know, throwing a stone in the middle of the ocean, that it will have a ripple effect because, you know, when we give this to the federation would be able to tailor-made it according to their own context, and you know, we are saving time. It's more efficient, you know, way of working, considering that we have actually in some cases we have 4 layers of the credit union system. So we are very happy that you are part of ACU. So I hope that you realize it's a very good, you know, network that we have. So the development educators are very privileged to have a first-hand look of what this is all about. Yeah, so this is the content of the document that we prepared. You know, first of all, these are the 3 how do you call it? Very important areas that we need to look at when we are analyzing the impacts. Because, you know, if you are trying to respond to this crisis, first and foremost, we need to look at where is the impact. And then from the impact, we should also identify what would be the appropriate action in order to mitigate the risk brought about those impacts. So the first group is the members. As you all know, you know, we are not here without the members of the credit union. The way we see it is that the impact of this COVID-19 is really that our members are really hard hit of the impact of the COVID crisis. It's because the members, particularly in our case in developing countries, your credit union are serving the most are, you know, belong to the low income segment of the population. So they are the farmers, they are the wage earners, they are the ordinary employees that you reach in your community. So these are the people now who lost jobs These are now the people who are farmers who cannot sell their produce in the market because there's no transport to bring their produce to the market. So their income has really been affected by the lockdown, or even the social distancing. Even your community is not locked down, the social distancing really affects the financial. It has a heavy effect on the financials of the members. If the members are heavily affected, definitely you can translate that to the impact on the finances of the credit union. Okay. Another group that we need to look into is our employees, because they are your frontliners. They are the ones who's delivering services to your members. They are the one always has a physical contact with your members, and so your employees knows exactly the financial performance of your credit unions. They know very well that during this crisis, members cannot pay the loan, the delinquency is going to increase. And then there will be a tendency of your staff thinking that, yeah, what about my job? What will happen to my job? What will happen to the 13-month pay? What will happen to the bonus? Because we will not have income this year. Okay. Another one is, of course, you know very well, institution. We do not, it's good that, board of directors of credit unions are always looking at the financial performance. But I think the performance of the financial performance of the credit union, it really depends on the members. I hope you will agree with me, because no amount of planning you can do in your credit union, if the members are still suffering, if the members still has no viable or no, dependable income, they have credit unions will be there, but the success of the credit union actually depends on the members' finances. So I think we need to approach these three areas, and these are the three areas that we focus on our business solution number 27. If you happen to go through, if the vaccine is not developed, is not been introduced, it looks like we will have to live with this coronavirus. Okay, Kunanjit, do you like to start with the discussion then? Hello, okay, I will open the discussion now, everybody. We start first with our members of the credit union. So, are you in the mood to discuss? Hello, Kunanjit. Oh, okay, he's gone. Joey, I can see you. Joey, can you share something? Huh? Joey. Okay, Kunanjit first. Sorry, okay, Kunanjit.
No, we can have a discussion. We will go for the discussion.
Okay, sure. Okay. Okay, my question maybe is here. Do you agree with me that the foundation, the foundation of our credit union is our members? So, do you think it's really appropriate for us to look at the impacts of the crisis to our members? And if there is an impact, what are those impacts that will really affect the operation of your cooperative or your credit union?
Let me enter to this. Within your initiative, have you gone through deeper, looking your existing members who has lost really job, who could not able to continue their small business, how many people really could not pay the last loan installment. Have you able to do this type of very close looking for your portfolio as well as individual members? We like to hear your experience. Hello, you are the DE. You can talk now. Kulani, I think we have created a question here. Can you post your question here because your presentation is empty.
Oh, is it so? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Kunanjit.
Let me. How many? You have any? How many members are seriously affected COVID-19? Any credit union has experience? No, no. Any single members? Good. God bless you. Is it correct? Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Any experience you can share within your member profile? Any single members affected COVID-19 virus? No?
Hello, Ranjit, Lenny.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm sorry, I just got in. I was having difficulty getting in. This is Gary.
Oh, yes. Okay, Gary. Thank you, Gary, for coming.
Yes. Well, I think in terms of impact on the members, they're most significantly affected in terms of ability to pay. And that's what we're trying to address right now. And because it has it impacts as well on our respective cooperatives, especially in terms of liquidity, which is why we're trying to lobby with the government for them to grant us some leeway in terms of easing up our liquidity. I mean, the liquidity of most cooperatives that have been affected.
All right. Okay.
So we've actually lined up quite a number of lobby points with the government, and presently we're coursing our lobbying through the Committee on Cooperative Development of the House, and every now and then we also try to reach the Senate counterpart of the Committee on Cooperatives. I can get into some of the regulatory reliefs that we are seeking from the government maybe later, or I can share some of this if you want.
Okay, can you see the several levels we are going to talk this today, but right now you can see in the slide, we look at how impact negative to the member. So that is what we will go, and then we'll come to the institution also. Let's see, looking for your members. Let's see, health. We are lucky to hear that none of our members has affected. So have you able to looking for ability to pay? Any credit union has created initiative to look your portfolio to see how many members could not pay last 3 months consecutive because of the COVID impact. Is there any experience? Can we share?
Again, Ranjit, Lenny.
Yes, yes. Yes, Gary, yes, Gary, go ahead.
I would have wanted to share some figures, but I guess Shelo, I'm not so sure if Shelo's here, but because she's in a better position to share the actual impact on our cooperative. But in one of the meetings of our board, she did presented some projections till year end, and the figures are not so. How do I put it? We're not so happy with the figures that came out of Shelo's projections.
Okay.
Okay, we will come back again. Honestly, how we going to prepare the continuity of your business plan, how your liquidity position, what are the new loan. I think right now we're looking for your, this is our focus, our members, we have to look at, so really, I think credit union, how do you collect the data of your members, how many members could not pay, and what is their resilience level of the member who has no any financial ability to cope up. I think this is our right now. Can we have another dialogue, focus a member level? Is it a member level? And next we'll move to the our institutional level. Please.
Mr. Ranjit, can I share one case?
Okay.
Okay, it's one of the very serious cases in Nepal in my SACOS. Before 1 month ago, one of our member family died in Dubai due to COVID, you know, and our member, her family, her wife is holding 1 million loan in my institution. Now she is in a big trouble, you know, and her family, her husband has been serving in security guard in the Dubai, but now it is 1 month, but nothing is declared, and nothing compensation he has got it, but it's one of the only one case, and in my institution more than 60% member is not able to continue their installment. This is my experience, you know. Yes.
Okay. I would like to, okay, maybe I will explain a little bit. I am sure that we are very good in ability to pay. Gary was telling, you know, Shelo has already made a projection. That is already one move that is good, because, you know, you are looking individually who are the members whose ability to pay has been affected. When you say ability to pay has been affected, these are your members who are wage earners. Because of the lockdown, they were not able to go to work. Because of the lockdown, your members who are selling in the market cannot do business on the daily basis for several months. These are the farmers of your credit union, of your cooperatives, who cannot go out to the farm, or even they have a harvest, they cannot sell the products because there's no transportation to go to the market. These are the people whose ability to pay have been impacted by this crisis. So, you know, the response of our credit union, I've seen that even, you know, the Central Bank of the Philippines has a guideline on how do you provide moratorium, on how I think, you know, that is something that you can adopt in your credit union. Now, the most important one, which is maybe we have before coronavirus, this is something that we are not very good at. Like, for example, the experts were saying that the people who has a less risk in getting the virus are those people with high immune system, and the people who has no underlying disease, and the people who are 60 and and above. When you look at the field of membership of your credit union, do we have this kind of members in our credit union? Have we created or have we put in our education program in our credit union health education? Do we have a program in our credit union that promotes health and healthy living for our members? Because from today onward, I think our credit union should participate in this. I think we should incorporate that in our services, because this is something that we have to face today and onwards. Yeah. Not only that, I think all the members of credit unions are entitled to access to health services. If this is not present in our credit union, this is something that we need to address, especially the low-income people. Okay. Another one is the digital channel. If ever, I have seen this, if ever the credit union or the cooperative has a digital channel, like for example, Kaya, there is a very slow uptake of the members using Kaya platform. Why is it? Is it because there is a lack of digital literacy for our members? Or maybe our staff are not using the digital platform, that is why it's very difficult to promote that to the members. Because right now, if your members are using digital channels, there is no problem of paying the loan to your credit union if they have the money to pay. There's no problem of paying utilities because they can do it on their mobile phone. So the issue is that are they really digitally literate? Because most of the people right now are connected to internet, and most of the people right now has Facebook. You can find them on Facebook. Yeah. Another area that we want to address is the resilience. What is the level of resilience of the members? Resilience is being able to survive and being able to sustain during the time of crisis. There are two resiliency for the members. Resilience in their physical resilience is the health. And another one is financial resilience, which is the money thing. I think the credit union can address the financial resilience of the members. What we are suggesting, even before, long time ago, we are suggesting to credit unions, please ask your members to have an emergency fund which is equivalent to 6 months of their family expenses in their saving account, that they cannot draw it from the credit union. They can only use it when there is a crisis like this. I think many credit unions have understood, even every individual have understood, I need to have this money with me so that in case of emergency, I don't depend on other people. Right now, there is a chaos in countries that's locked down because if the people do not have this emergency fund, it's the responsibility of the government to feed them. It's good the credit unions are stepping in, help and preparing food packs, but I think it's not our role. If we have educated our members on, financial literacy and financial resiliency, there's no need for credit union to provide for food pack, because we are very confident our members would be able to sustain during the crisis. So having said that, I want you to comment. Are we really exaggerating, or this is something that we can learn? Okay. Hello there.
Hi, Ma'am Lenny.
Yes.
Hi, Shelo. Good afternoon.
Hello, yes, good afternoon, Chelo.
The sound is not that clear.
Chelo, we can hear you okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Ma'am, I browsed through the document you've said.
Yes.
From the time I've received it, and I shared it to our board of directors.
Okay, great.
And I've been going through the document and really trying to see how it could be applied to, well, everything is applicable actually. All those that written in those solutions are applicable, not just for cooperatives, but even to our own personal lives. However, my comment is it's a good solution looking forward. It could be part of anyone's business continuity plan. But it's a solution for the moving forward as we go to the new normal. I think better normal sana. But right now, because because most, even the rich countries are not really prepared for this pandemic. So what's good about it is that we have something to start with, a solution that we could start with. But solving the current problem right now, especially in the issue of the cooperatives, of your members having lack of financial capabilities, I guess that's what we have to face at present time. Because as soon as there is public transport in the Philippines, particularly in NCR, I guess that's the only time that we could really see the real concerns of the members. Because no matter how would you like to reach out with them, at this point, most of the members are really afraid to go out of their houses. So you could really get limited information. So as we go to the new normal, that's the only time that we could really assess the concerns of the members and how they were really impacted by this pandemic. And that's the only time that we could really see how the cooperative could really respond to really help beyond what you have said, beyond the food packs and so forth and so on. But again, how resilient, what I really like about the solution, it's addressing the members, the institution, the organization, and the leadership and management. But by the time that we're really somehow go back to normal, I really hope that the cooperatives could really respond and be that strong enough to really respond to the needs of the members.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Yellow, for that. Okay. This is something that also food for thought. I mean, something that you need to think whether your members are feeling this. This is a survey that I came across from the credit union, and the question was, in what way can your credit union support you and your family during this situation? Number one is increased peace of mind, provide me with the relief I need to get through the crisis. Number two, build my hope, continually be there for me through guidance and solutions, reduce my unnecessary stress, make it easy for me to access staff and tools when and how I need them. When I read this result of survey, I was thinking to myself, just Cielo was telling that, it looks like there's so many things on your plate right now. You do not know which one is number one, number two. I can imagine that. But most probably, this is also one of the priorities right now, because you have a lot of members that has been impacted. Probably, do you think it's possible for you to just create some sort of, group chat with your members so that you will utilize your staff also to let the members feel that you care for them, and then after this coronavirus, you will sit with them and then look at, another opportunities where your credit union can help. The fact is that right now, I read in this morning, there was a news that there is an increase in unemployment in the Philippines. Not only in the Philippines, I think it's true in most of the countries. In Thailand, there is a estimate that around 7 million people will lose the job because people are there's a lot of jobs that will be lost on tourism. In the same way, other countries will also feel that. So when there is unemployment, definitely there will be an increase in poverty. Your members who are already in the poverty line will slip back to becoming more poor. So we can see that. And then the chances of being employed in companies will be very less, and I think the credit union really need to assist our members to look at opportunities where you can invest with them by doing business. So can you comment on that? Is that interpretation true or very close to reality in what you are experiencing now? Right. Thank you very much, Cielo. Is there any other thoughts on this? Thank you, Cielo. You're doing a good job. That's also, I like the fact that you have your I think your Co-op Tulungan or something. It's a platform where your members can discuss among themselves. This is a good way to pacify also the members, because I'm sure that according to the survey, I think they are losing hope. Especially those who lost the job. Anyone would like to comment?
Lenny?
Yes, Gary.
Yes. I perfectly agree with what you said earlier.
Yes.
That we cooperatives are really bound to be affected more, or bound to be impacted more than the other sectors of society or of business, because I specifically agree with what you said as to what our vulnerabilities are. Firstly, the co-op membership is a relatively old population. Second, we're basically low-income earners. We're made up, for the most part, of low-income earners. And thirdly, we have not been adequately exposed to technology relative to the other sectors of society. So this is where our vulnerabilities lie. And I think the interventions that we should be thinking of should be directed towards addressing these three basic vulnerabilities of our sector.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. You pointed it out well. The reason why we actually focus on the members, actually, those are our vulnerabilities.
Yes.
The health. Your members are the low-income people. Usually, they are the ones who do not actually go regularly for medical checkup. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is something, if we really want to help people, cooperatives are for people, cooperatives is a human organization, humane organization. So then, it should be part of our service, or there is an equivalent financial service to that. So I think we have to look into this area. Because maybe we are always focused on financial services, only financial services, but we do not know behind that there is more important to make sure that we are not vulnerable in this kind of crisis. Any other point then? If not, I will go to the, Kunanjit, do you have any point so that we can go to the employees area? Hello?
Yes. Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes, additional to members' welfare, ma'am.
Yes, is this...
Yes. si Angie, ma'am.
Angie, yes, Angie. Sorry, Angie, I cannot see the screen right now. Okay,
Okay.
Angie, thank
Okay,
you.
no. Yes, ma'am, si
Go ahead,
Angie.
Angie.
This is Angie, ma'am. And just like the San Dionisio, we have also the FB page. We copied some of their educational techniques. And we also add welfare from the members to assist them with their entrepreneurial uh, level of awareness. So we have partnership to the LGU on their project mobile market, and some of the we encourage them to sell their product on the mobile market because we do not have market, and we members volunteered their products to deliver house to house, and they charge only delivery services, and it will help them to continue their businesses, just like they deliver eggs and other livelihood and product from the member. We encourage member to sell their product to the mobile market, and they encourage to deliver it house to house to their nearest community. That's
Right.
all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Angie. Yeah, I saw this morning in the news in Philippines. I think it's a project of Vice President Lenny Robredo, Community Mart. Is that right?
Yes.
There is
Yes.
a
Yes.
Community Mart in Quezon City and Pasig. Is it
Yes.
available now all over Manila?
In Taguig also, it's
Okay.
available.
Yes, that
Encouragement.
yes, that's right. Okay. Yeah. So I think the role of the cooperative there is to facilitate members.
Yes.
Okay.
Their livelihood.
Okay. So I think the lesson we can learn are that the members must be resilient. What we think about members' resiliency is physical resiliency and financial resiliency. Financial resiliency is that they should be able to prepare for any untoward event that may come in the future that we do not know. Oh. Okay, I'll go to the staff of your credit union. I think this is partly, Cielo has already mentioned this one. I will add to that. Do you have this kind of issue in your cooperative or SACOs that the staff is fearing about the job security and low morale? And then there are also work from home challenges if they do not have strong internet connection during the lockdown, because most of the time, definitely they have to be connected with each other, and if the internet connection is not good, this is not going to be very effective. And yes, Cielo clearly mentioned the health protection of the staff. Can anyone share something on this?
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
Ms. Leni, yes, we have in Nepal, in my credit unions, we have
Yes, is it Dean?
made a certain contingency plan, and we have
Right.
met to a risk management team, like a task force, which is directed by the NEPSCUN. And we have make two group of the staff, and from the two group, one group will continue the job, and the other group will stay at home, and they will work from home. And we have also maintained the health, safety, and then other measures to the staff, and the COVID-related insurance also covered to the staff also. and some of the staff who is working from home would have maintained all the equipment like internet and daily reporting system and the online digital and online diary. They had to make online diary. That's why we are performing day by day office work in this pandemic case also.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Do you is there when we look at the first area on job security and morale, I think this is going to be, if your credit union is really strong before the COVID-19, this is not going to be a problem, because we see that this might be a temporary situation, because you would be able to cope up once the vaccine is available. So, I think, I'm not an expert, but I think maybe it will change, because people would be able to, will have no fear of traveling and going out. But if not, this is going to be an issue for a cooperative, for a credit union.
Yeah, and the board of directors also decided to give money, like 1 million money in case of this pandemic staff. That point also may be will be the example for the others credit unions. I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So anyway, our solution, our business solution has a has an elaborate e-packs and solution as well. I would like to go now to turn this presentation to the institution. I think we have a lot of things to address in the institution. Okay, now Gary, you're talking about the legal compliance. So this is one area that we need to look at the impacts of in our credit union. So maybe you would like to share what you did in the Philippines with respect to legal compliance. Is Gary still there?
Yes, Lenny, I'm still here.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes. Well, so far what we've done is, like for instance, there's this thing about credit cooperatives and other financial services cooperatives being initially excluded from the list of essential businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did is try to lobby as much as we can to have our cooperatives included. And fortunately, after a month, we eventually were able to get it across. So that's one. The other thing is we've lobbied with the government, with CDA, with the Cooperative Development Authority, to allow the use of the Cooperative Development Fund, not just by a cooperative, not just within its sphere of operations, but also even outside. Because the way things are at present, the use of the Community Development Fund is limited to a cooperative sphere of operations. So that's one thing that we're still lobbying for, but at least CDA is a bit open about it. So even if a cooperative donates to other needy co-op communities, for now they'd still allow the use of our Cooperative Development Fund. We've also asked for extensions in the submission of reports, as well as extensions in the holding of general assemblies. So those are some of the things that we've been able to lobby for. But presently, I have here a list of other things that we would want, that we are seeking from the Cooperative Development Authority. I'm not so sure if this is the right time for me to share this.
Yes, yes, you
Lenny.
can share now. You can share now, Gary.
Okay. Well, one lobby point is for CDA to allow the use of what we call the General Reserve Fund. Because the way things are at present, 10% of the net surplus of a cooperative gets allocated to General Reserve Fund, specifically for purposes of ensuring the stability of a cooperative. But at best, the fund gets deposited only, let's say, in savings deposits or in bank or in time deposits. So what we're asking CDA is to allow us to use the funds within the General Reserve Fund for operations, so as to ease up the liquidity of our cooperatives. That's one. Well, the other thing is we're asking CDA to relax the provision for the provisioning for loan losses, which is presently at 35% and 100% respectively for 1-year loans, for less than 1-year loans, and for more than 1-year loans. So that's 35% and 100%. But given the way things are going, many cooperatives are bound to suffer either from reduced incomes or even incur losses. So we're asking CDA, or the Cooperative Development Authority, to relax a bit on the required provisioning for loan losses for cooperatives. What else? Thirdly, there's this concept of net operating loss carryover for private companies. In other words, if a company incurs losses, let's say this year, the government would allow that private company to, if in case that company realizes net incomes, let's say from 2021 to 2023, this net operating loss carryover concept would allow that particular private company to claim tax credits against the net incomes that it will be realizing. So if we were to apply that same concept to cooperatives, we'll have to tweak it a bit, because cooperatives in the Philippines are not subject to taxes. So instead, we are requesting CDA to allow us to, how do I put it, to allow cooperatives to apply the net losses. Let's say, if there's a net loss incurred this year, and there's a net surplus realized next year by a particular cooperative, then that cooperative, before it allocates its net surplus to the different statutory funds, like the General Reserve Fund, like the Cooperative Education and Training Fund, and the Cooperative Development Fund, before the net surplus gets allocated to those statutory funds, if CDA could possibly allow a cooperative to deduct the net losses first before allocating. So it lessens the burden on the cooperative that would have sustained a net loss this year, from having to put up that much fund and put it in the 30% statutory funds, no?
Sure.
Were you able to follow?
Yes, I can follow, Gary, because while you were explaining about the net, how do you call, losses that will be carry over in the succeeding year. Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
My mind is thinking about what kind of accounting will be applicable to that, whether that would be applicable, what that would be acceptable accounting standard practice. You get
Well,
my point?
I happened to hear in one of the meetings
Can I?
conducted by the
Sure, go ahead.
Secretary of
Yes.
Finance
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Can I, Lenny?
that they would treat it as off balance sheet.
Mm.
So maybe we could research further on that and see if it could work as well for us cooperatives. If it works for a private company and and it would even be allowed by the Secretary of Finance, then why can't it possibly be allowed as well for cooperatives? That's, I mean, in terms of treating it
Okay.
as an
Let
off
me
balance sheet.
to come into this
Yes.
matter.
Okay, Kunranjit, yes,
Okay,
you
you
want to
are
say.
bringing the 3 points.
Okay.
Let me understand. 3 points. One is to use the institutional capital for the operation cost. I think it
Operations.
is obviously my understand. I'm also basically chartered accountant. Also, it is obviously you don't need to ask any permission. It is obviously if you are running at loss, it goes to your institutional capital. But it's an institutional capital has no cash allocated somewhere to pay the expenses. This is not, we are talking about the cash flow. We're looking for permission to reach the covering the operational cost by the institutional capital, because officially institutional capital the certain your financial stability. Let me come back. Second question you are asking to deviate existing portfolio quality management to allow him to give a certain grace period. Okay, no need to 35%, no need to 100%, 12 months, can you allow? My basic understand there's no meaning of this, very frankly, because that means our management style, we need to understand very severely that is how much really our problems. But in the last question you bring it, this is the whenever these two will be contribute the last question, because this is unexpected situations. Even take example, our building get fired, we losses can carry forward for the next 3 years. It is a general assembly has to agree our losses going to be carried forward another 3 years to set off from the potential our profit. In the same way, so I think Ms. Lenny asked the question, what kind of accounting? This is unexpected losses you occurred because of the COVID-19. So it has to bring the formally, and you need to bring it to the General Assembly approval. Also, that losses which you occurred because of delinquency increase, and maybe you have to pay for the staff salary, you have not generated income, that during the around maybe 5 to 6 months or losses, you are going to bring it to the not only this financial year, so you will bring it to the losses, okay, carry forward for the next 3 years time, so based on potential profit. I think it is acceptable accounting standards. So any institution, unexpected losses can carry forward for any future. But when you are defining for your how to call your balance sheet, you are saying it is like losses carry forward, but you will not going to when you are presenting your balance sheet quality, always you have to set off and to show. I think that's the way my understanding, Lenny, the Gary 3 question. I don't know why you are asking to ask from the CDA
Because
loan policy.
Because it relates to some compliance requirements with CDA, Ranjit.
I think
We're working within.
very
We're
frankly,
working.
this is not the normal situation. Everybody need to understand your compliance with that. When you compliance with that, it will show away your losses. That's only. Because you don't need to ask any permission when you compliance with this regulatory requirement, and then your losses is going to increase. That's only. So, but definitely this year you cannot pay for the dividends. That we have to understand very clearly. But while you are trying to do that, you are not going to show the real losses, and you want to compensate for the giving to the dividend to the people. Okay, we are better and we're going to give you more dividend. My argument is a different. My argument is to show the real losses, and then you show the carry forward the losses for the next 4 years time. But one thing is, no one can get the dividend for this year because of these losses. I think, but what you are trying to explain, you are going to compensate to the members. Okay, we have not much losses, okay, because of we deviated from the policy, and we can pay for the dividends. I think that should not be the case.
Oh, well, I guess just to qualify a bit, this all have to do with trying to ease up liquidity on the part of our cooperatives. For instance, as things are right now, we can't possibly use our general reserve fund. We're not allowed, supposed to be. So what we're requesting is that we be allowed to use this general reserve fund for operations. Again, to help ease liquidity on the part of the affected cooperatives. You're saying, Ranjit, yes, we might as well not let CDA know. But on the other hand, my way of looking at it is,
Jerry,
there's no harm in letting them know.
Because our institutional capital, we don't keep as a liquidity. In the case, if you are general reserve fund, you have deposit in another bank as a liquidity, then what you are talking is correct. But institutional capital is not keeping as a cash reserve to somewhere else outside. Already you have used your institutional capital either to granting the loan or to accumulate a certain building or something. You have already used institutional capital. We don't keep the institutional capital separate, the deposit in the reserve outside of your system. So what you need actually, issue is you need certain liquidity. You need a liquidity that you have to negotiate. Very frankly, another 2 months ago, ACU has negotiated with all the member federation. We inform in advance they have to negotiate with their respective authority. They need to secure the liquidity money, because we told the member federation, primary society need the liquidity. I'm happy to mention that in Nepal, NCBL and NAPSCON has agreed around maybe $1 million. They secure the liquidity money for the member society. I'm not quite sure in the Philippine case whether NATCO and PFCCU has a negotiate with the government to get some extra liquidity to disburse to the primary society to maintain the liquidity level. So I think the issue is liquidity issue.
Yes, that's part of the different modes of assistance under the stimulus package.
Okay.
But aside from that, these are some of the things that we are toying with. Because strictly speaking, my personal understanding is, if let's say a cooperative realizes 30 million, 10% of that, or 3 million, is supposed to go into the general reserve fund, and that 3 million has to be put in deposit with the bank and not used for operations. What we're asking is that a cooperative be allowed to use that 3 million in operations.
Okay, Gary.
Instead of just laying it having it lie idle in a savings deposit.
Yeah. Okay, Gary. Sorry for that. I want to intervene. I want to talk because I am not saying that it's part of the law in Philippines, correct?
Yes.
But what I do not understand, why is it? Because the 10% of your capital is not, how do I say, I think everybody knows about the pro forma of the balance sheet. The source of your income, the source of your how do you call, your assets. Your assets is actually financed by share of the members, deposit of the members, and institutional capital. So we are saying that the institutional capital should be 10%. But on the other side, when you invest those money, the shares, the savings of the members, the institutional capital, which is own capital, own money of the credit of the cooperative, you need to be able to manage the composition of the assets. And according to our standard, the composition of the assets is that, you need to maintain liquidity of certain, I think in the Pearl ratio is about 15%, 70 to 80% should be in the loan, and only 5% should be in the non-earning asset or in the building. So in that case, it does not have to be necessarily mean that the 10% should really be set aside and put in the bank and never touch at any time. So that is not, how do I say, asset and liability management. Do you get my point?
Yeah, but
is it, Glennie, is it really CDA regulation?
It's a
Huh?
regulation in
yes, because the way things are,
cooperative also, they have to idle money, keep their institutional capital outside the system. Is it?
well, maybe we could. Well, maybe we could double check, but that's my own understanding.
But this is the first time I'm hearing, because the CDA has a regulated asking to, okay, there is a liquidity investment. That's a different part. I'm asking for your institutional capital equal to that amount. You must deposit in the money from the outside the system. This is the first time I'm hearing. I am interviewed with the Philippines cooperative sector several times, but I don't understand why the regulators has put in that kind of wrong framework. I don't know. Some other Filipino can correct it, but.
Well, yes, I'd even appreciate if somebody in the group can enlighten me on it. But my own understanding, my own understanding, Lenny, Ranjit,
yes, Dari, I heard that before.
Is that out of the net surplus, 30% goes to these statutory funds that I cited, which includes General Reserve Fund, and the 70% is that which gets distributed to the members in the form of interest on capital and patronage refund. And my additional understanding is, if it gets into your GRF, you can't possibly revert it to operations.
Mm-hmm.
You can deposit it in a bank because in the first place, it has to be funded.
Mm-hmm.
And for it to be funded, it has to be, you'll have to show that it's deposited in a bank and not used in the cooperative's operations.
Right. Okay.
And that's what we're seeking. And that's what we're seeking as a relief.
Right.
I think for the time being, let me have another webinar on this matter with the regulators. Maybe we will talk with another CEO of the one cooperative to see is there such a regulatory equivalent to your institutional capital has to go out of the system and maintain the deposit in the outside. Okay, with that, if that's the case, that's wrong. Okay, let's talk to that some other point. Can we move ahead to the other people to allow him to talk?
Okay, yes. Anyone? I would, otherwise I will be calling names here. uh, Anyone would like to share? Ed. Ed from Tagum po. Oh, Joey. Joey is there?
Actually,
Yes, Joey. Go ahead.
actually, what Gary is saying is true. In the regulation, at the end of the year, supposedly you have a funding on that reserve fund. It should not be used to operation. That is based on the guidelines that was set by CDA.
Mhm.
I don't countries because in the Philippines we have only one reserve fund. In other countries, I think you have another. We call it this as institutional fund. It's the So some of the co-ops have a problem regarding the reserve fund. That's why they are lobbying it to have it as part of the operation temporarily. That is one of the guidelines that they're asking. In our cooperative, we are strictly following that so that we can get our certificate of compliance from CDA, including also the compliance with our certificate of tax exemptions with the BIR. Those
Can you share somebody that it is in the regulation or it is a additional circular from the CDA? Can we share with us to ACU? So we would like to study to see and if it is your Philippine Cooperative Code and what article it's showing, or if not, the CDA chair has circulated, kindly share with us so then we will able to learn and we will able to bring it to the even a national federation. I think you should not the people, we will negotiate with the regulator. If that's the case, that's a wrong prescription to the credit union.
Yeah, because you already have a standard on how do you structure your assets. It's already clear. So this one is contradicting to the structure of assets that the regulation also prescribe, isn't it? Okay. Yes. Hello there. We have many here.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello.
Anyone would like to share something?
Yes.
Or maybe we can go to another box. Is there anything specific you want to know or question regarding other boxes?
Institutional capital. Yes.
I heard somebody is speaking. Gil? Gil, I did not hear your voice. Gil Ferrer. I am calling names now.
Hello, ma'am. This is
Yes.
Angie.
Yes, I cannot hear you clearly.
Yes, ma'am. Si Angie, ma'am.
Oh, Angie. Okay, go ahead, Angie.
Yeah, this is regarding the institutional capital, the reserve fund.
Right.
It is stated there in the policy, the Republic Act 9520, that the reserve fund shall be used for the stability of the cooperative to meet the losses, to meet the net losses. When the cooperative reach net loss in 1 year operation, that's the time we will use the reserve fund. That's why Sir Gary is parang they realize that after this year, most of the cooperative might get net loss, and then we need to use the reserve fund, the institutional capital, because it is stated there in the Republic Act 9520. The reserve fund. But the problem is, if there is available fund, really, maybe it is just recorded that some of the cooperative have reserve fund, but in reality, they don't have enough cash allocated to the reserve fund. That the reserve fund should be deposited on a separate bank or in a low risk investment in order to get the reserve fund. But as of now, some of the cooperative are not sure if their reserve fund recorded in their financial statements is really if they really observe that to reserve the fund, because in reality some of the reserve fund of the cooperatives are not reserved. They also use the fund. They don't have
According to the
separate
website of
account, separate bank
cda.government.ph,
account.
this is a chart of how they define this fund here. The last sentence saying that a corresponding fund should be set up either in the form of time deposit with local bank or government security. So it requests if you have a reserve fund have to be the cash and put in the bank or the government security.
It should be.
But in here they not have detail about can you use it or cannot use it. You can look at that more information.
Angie, please go ahead. Come on, sorry. Can you mute your microphone? Come on, Angie.
In the law, yes. Under Republic Act 9520, we are not allowed to use reserve fund unless we reach net loss. We get the net loss, and then we will utilize the reserve fund. But some of the cooperative, their problem, the reserve fund is not really reserved. They don't have a separate bank account to reserve the fund. That is the reality.
Okay.
Like, for example, in the financial statement, they have reserved 500,000 because for the last 3 years they have income and they reserved 500,000. But in reality, when they get net loss, 500,000 is not visible also. That is the problem in utilizing the institutional capital.
Okay. Thank you very much, Angie. We have a lot of questions to that policy. I'm so sorry because utilizing your sources of fund does not mean it has to remain in cash.
Okay, Kulani.
Yes,
okay. I am reading the article 30710 Reserve Fund, your cooperative code. This account refers to the amount set aside annually for the stability of the cooperative, equivalent to at least 10% of the net surplus, and meet net operating losses in the operation. So it is very clearly mentioned. A corresponding fund should be set up either in the form of the time deposit with the local bank or government security. So I think it is within your it is very clearly mentioning if it is a losses you can use it. It never say that you cannot withdraw that money. I think you can withdraw the money, you can use for the liquidity position, but the general framework providing, keep the money from the outside the system, but actually that's not the correct guideline also. So this is our reading. But anyway, I think this has to be classified. But as you Anjali mentioned, you don't have any problem to cover the operational losses from these funds, no problem. But if you have a difficulty, you can also withdraw because your signatory power within you. So you can withdraw the money and use for the liquidity. Once you become a better position, you can put back again that money to the bank account. I think it's within your operations. Thank you.
Okay. That's kind of, I think we need to have a lot of education on that part.
Yes.
We need to have a lot of education on that part on how actually the composition of your balance sheet, because it's not actually, you know, associating that, okay, this reserve fund should be there. Actually, you can use that to your operation. You can use that to grant the loan. For as long, the only thing that you need not to do is to allocate that money to for anything that is not recoverable or losing. Okay. All right. So I think we have a lot of we have a lengthy discussion about the institutional capital or the reserve fund on how to use it. Sorry for our Nepalese friend. This is a Philippine law that we have been talking.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyone would like to say? I heard some voice. Okay, so then I'll just go through very quickly. I hope that every one of you has already prepared a business continuity plan, because that is very important to have. If you are a board of director, the role of the board of director today is to ensure that you are performing your oversight function, and that you have directed your manager of your credit union to have this business continuity plan to address the impact, the risk of this crisis, and then how to respond to the crisis. This business solution is very good for you as a guideline on how to prepare your business continuity plan. We talked about liquidity management already. So when you look, I think it is important that the manager of your credit union should be able to prepare liquidity cash flow projection, because there's a lot of loans that will not be repaid during this lockdown period. Okay, I talked about digital channels already. The lending, we actually don't really encourage you to grant new loans, especially if that particular loan is giving additional burden to your members. The loan that our credit union should be providing now are those that will stimulate income generation for the members. So we need to really incorporate business development support in our operation right now, so that we can help our members to see opportunities on business. Portfolio quality, yes, this has to be, we explained already. If you are responding to the quality of portfolio by giving grace periods and moratoriums, it has only to be applied to the members who are actually affected by the pandemic, or those whose ability to pay has been affected. Not for everybody. This is not a blanket privilege that you should give to your members, only to those who are affected. Savings mobilization, I mentioned earlier, we need to teach and we need to relaunch the 360 degrees financial literacy for members, because this will help the members to become more resilient. I think the revenue we explained, we talk a lot. External borrowings, if you have, if it is possible to renegotiate, yes, you can do that. And on the operating and capital expenditure, if you have already planned for any capital expenditure, probably you can postpone it and look study carefully whether you have the capacity to continue the capital expenditure. And the institutional capital, we recommend that we really need to comply with a minimum 10% of the institutional capital over total assets. The institutional capital of the credit union to be able to be stable, and this is our financial cushion, it has to be at least minimum 10% of your total assets. And the governance is that, our board are still meeting, even not in person, but we are using video conferencing and virtual platforms to be able to, for the board to still continue their oversight function even during the crisis. Yeah. And based on our reflection, I think what we can learn from this crisis is that credit unions can become resilient if we have a financially literate membership. You do not have, your members are very clear that they are in your cooperative to improve their lives, not in their cooperative to, take advantage of the loan, take advantage of, this is the place where I can get the loan, and it's easy to get the loan here and easy also to default. If your members are financially literate, I think your members are coming to your credit union to save money, and your members are coming to your credit union to get loan in order to boost their income capacity. So this is what we call financially literate membership. So the credit union should always strive for achieving the minimum 10% institutional capital, because this is the test for institutional strength. Okay, so that's it. I think those are the things that we want to share to you this afternoon. The credit union business solution is very elaborate, and if you actually, answer those areas, if you answer the areas on the impacts and response, and you collate them, it's actually your business continuity plan. Okay. Hello there. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, and we hope to see you again. Yes, bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, everyone. I hope that you find the tool helpful for you. So anything that you need from us, please just email us. Thank you very much, Joey. Joey, we feel guilty. You're the only one with a D shirt.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Where is Rick?
Daisy, everyone.
Okay, bye. Yes, bye, Gil. Bye, everyone.